Start again. Whakataka
te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mā kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai, e hi ake ana te atakura, he tio, he huka, te hauhu, tihei mauriora.
Flip to the reverse side. Cease the
Winds from the west,
cease the winds from the south.
Let the breeze blow over the land, let the breeze blow over the ocean.
Let the red-tipped dawn come with a sharpened ear, a touch of frost, a promise of a glorious day. Kia ora, James.
Amihi Peri. I call the meeting to order and welcome councillors to the first meeting of 2019-2021 triennium. We have no apologies for today, and so we'll go straight into the decision items, the first of which is item number 3, election of chairperson. The paper provided to council in advance sets out a choice before moving to the voting on a chairperson of the two approaches laid out in the Local Government Act in Schedule 7 for the election process, and so we will need in the first instance to make a choice as to whether we use System A or System B. The different processes are set out in the paper, but more than happy to take any questions on that before I call for a motion in relation to the resolutions. The recommendation from staff is that System A is adopted for the voting of the chairperson, as it is the most straightforward, and that's essentially simple majority. So, do councillors have any questions in relation to the two voting processes set out in the Local Government Act? Councillor?
I'm happy to move that we adopt voting process A.
Thank you, councillor. I'll have a resolution motion from councillor Barker. If anyone wish to second that?
I'll second it.
Thank you, councillor Van Beek. If there's no further discussion on that, you don't wish to speak to the motion at all?
It's a procedural matter.
So, that being the case, I will put the resolution that we adopt voting system A to the council. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Against? It's carried. So, given that we have adopted voting system A, we now need to move to the nomination of chairperson for the Regional Council. Do we have any nominations for the chair? Councillor Barker?
I wish to nominate Rex Graham.
Thank you, councillor. Do we have a seconder for the motion?
Yep, I'll second the nomination.
Thank you, councillor Lambert. Do we have any other nominations for the chair of the Regional Council? We do not. That being the case, I will put the motion to the floor.
Excuse me, Chair.
Yes.
Normally the person who moves is entitled to say a few words in support of it.
Is it a procedural motion or not, councillor?
No, I'm just saying that's what we have always done.
Sure. Look, that's fine. What I actually have down here that the nominees being given an opportunity to speak, but look, if you would like to speak, and we could also perhaps invite the nominee to speak as well, if he so wishes.
Well, normally, firstly, I'd like to say I welcome the opportunity to nominate Rex. I've had 3 years to work with Rex as the chair. In that 3 years, I've had the opportunity to assess clearly his suitability for the position. And I want to say he has passed with flying colours. The thing that I've noted about Rex is he is very active. I have in a previous life worked closely with the chairs of the Regional Council, and I cannot think of a chair who has put more effort into the role of the chairperson than Rex Graham. Others have done an outstanding job as the chair, but there's no question that Rex has put everything he could do into this position. I also have had, due to other commitments, the opportunity to meet chairs of other regional councils around the country, and I've looked at what they do and how they do the job, and I want to say, against those measures also, I think Rex measures more than favourably. Very energetic, very committed. But activity alone isn't enough. You have to have direction. In this regard, Rex has shown clear direction about what he wants from this regional council and its community. He has been very good in that he has a unique combination of things, accidents of history in a way, connections with Wairoa, grew up in Hastings, been in orchards for many years, lives in the town. So Rex has in many ways been able to be a bridge between parts of our community, between town and country. But also he has a knack of putting things into a very succinct form and expresses what he wishes to do. One of those which I will always treasure is that he said of the Tukituki River, for 150 years the river had to live with us. Now we will have to live with the river. And just turned the thing around. He's got it exactly right. For a long time, this community has undertaken its activities with little regard for the environmental consequences. Now has come the time where we must conduct our activities with every mindful moment being on the environmental consequences. We must move to an environment where we are living sustainably. This will take some serious effort and some serious commitment, and it will cause lifestyle changes. We cannot expect to live the same lives we have for the last 100 years and change how we interact with the environment. So I support Rex in that. The other two things which I think he brings is passion for the job. You cannot believe that he does anything without any passion and belief. So I think Rex has undertaken the last 3 years in an exemplary manner, and I look forward to seeing him lead this council for the next 3 years with the same diligence, effort, commitment, passion and energy to push everybody along. And one thing I do know about Rex, we won't have to think long to understand what he thinks about any issue. We will know.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Lambert, would you like to speak to the motion at all?
Yeah, I would. I'd like to firstly acknowledge Rex. When I was on the Wairoa District Council, he came down to discuss some of the flooding, some of the other issues that were there, and I heard the most common sense I've heard for a long time about how to deal with our river, especially how it has been blocked for quite a number of times, and yeah, everyone waited till our banks were falling in before they come to help. So, in that sense, I wish to follow Rick's lead in that regard. I know he's also spoken highly of Wairoa a number of times when you guys started off the regional park there. Everyone's quite happy in Wairoa with what's going on, so we want to keep that ahua going. And I know Rex has also put forward the motion on Māori wards within the regional council. Not everyone agreed with it, but he was there and he put it forward, so we support that as well. And in saying that, I know Rex could stand up right there now and give us his vision, probably a lot clearer than many of us could right at this time. So, yeah, I know Wairoa's behind me. We all support Rex. And probably the last time I ever did this was when Mike went to be the chairman of the Māori Standing Committee. So good to see Mike here as well to support what's going on. Thank you, James.
Thank you, Councillor. Do any other councillors wish to speak to the motion? Rather than asking the nominee to speak at this point, I might suggest that he take that opportunity once we've concluded the vote. So we have a motion moved by Councillor Barker, seconded by Councillor Lambert, to duly elect Councillor Graham as the chairperson of the Hawke's Bay Regional Council. So all those in favour, please say aye.
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 Against? Motion is carried. I'll now vacate my chair and ask Councillor Graham to come and take this chair. And
I might just speak from here so I can...
There's a declaration to sign, but absolutely.
Yeah.
Perhaps before you do, might just make this legal.
Yeah, sign the paper. Put the email secret in it.
After what he's going to say, can we retract our votes?
No, it's a done deal now. Too late.
So thank you, councillors, for electing me as your chair. I really appreciate it, and I will do the job to the best of my ability. Don't take this job lightly. It's a very serious job in our community, and we are the only councillor with a ruhi that spans the entire length and breadth of Hawke's Bay. So this is a very important council. Before I go further, I just want to acknowledge my family who are here today. I also, to support me, and my dear friend Hinari. I have been having coffees with Hinari at 8 o'clock every Sunday morning, I think for 18 years now. And my wife thinks we're boring old farts because we've gone through 5 cafes and the one owners and the one cafe. But nevertheless, it's an enduring custom, and Sunday mornings I really look forward to. I also want to acknowledge Mike Mohi, whose services we are going to lose, and I'm trying to think of something that we need to get him to do, because talk about enduring. He has been an enduring factor in this council for much longer than any of us around here. He started many years ago when things weren't that hot for Marydam, and he fought through the issues. He took flack from both sides, but he did a marvellous job, and I know he's ageing a bit now. This is the problem. He looks 60, but he's a little bit older than that. So I want to acknowledge all the people who came to support. I think we haven't done this before. It's just been a marvellous experience for all of us involved. It is especially gratifying to me that we have 2 elected Māori representatives around this table. And that really showed today with the support that they had, and I know that they are both going to contribute enormously. It was a tough election. I just want to talk a little bit about that. A really interesting election, quite different elections in the different wards. We had 3 councillors retiring, so there were those spaces, and we had 2 councillors who were sitting who didn't get through. And they will be a great loss, but that is the nature of, because they were both very hard-working councillors, but that's the nature of democracy, and they have been replaced by a new group who I've got great hope for. And the first meeting of this council I thought was tremendous. I think we have some incredibly talented people around this table, and the trick is going to be we all work together in the same direction. And I don't think it's too much of a trick, because everybody here has their eye on the ball of having a strong economy that works in harmony with the environment. We haven't done that for the last 100 years, and we have a lot of legacy issues that we're still trying to fix, and we won't do that overnight. And there will be a bit of pain in that. I just want to also acknowledge our staff who are all sitting across. They look like a jury, actually. We have the most incredible staff led by James. Over the last 3 years, James has made lots of changes and brought in a whole bunch of new people. And I think, and generally think, that we have the most talented staff in any council in New Zealand, let alone Hawke's Bay. They are incredibly hard-working, and sometimes it's a bit rough around the council table, I know, and I acknowledge that, but you've got to remember that we all greatly appreciate the work that you do and the talent that you bring to the table for the benefit of this region. So thank you, and I hope that you all stick around for this whole 3 years. So having said that, thanks Rick for nominating me. Rick has been my deputy chair for the last 3 years, and quite frankly, I wouldn't know what to do without him. We are quite different people, and he has more than one occasion saved the day when I've put my foot in it. And I have greatly relied on his incredible experience in this area of governance, and his amazing intellect. So thanks, Rick, for being around those 3 years, and also thank you for nominating me. And Charlie, really appreciate that you were my seconder. So we go forward as a single council. We go forward working together, and I'm really looking forward to doing some serious work and following the legacy of our last 3 years, where we were pretty busy, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be equally as busy. So once again, thank you everyone, and I look forward to the next 3 years. What is Okay, now we're going to elect the Deputy Chair of the Council, and so I will call, I should look at you guys, shouldn't I? I will call for nominations for our Deputy Chair.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate Rick Barker for the position of Deputy Chair.
Thank you, Neil. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second that.
You second that? Thank you, Sheriff. Do we have any other? Yes. Do we have any? Do we have any other nominations? We don't. Therefore, Neil, the floor is yours.
Look, it's with great pleasure that I nominate Councillor Barker for the position of Deputy Chair. Rick, as everyone knows, has a very quiet, unassuming manner. When he speaks, it is with a great depth of knowledge and understanding. Rick is a very experienced negotiator, and that has shown through on a number of occasions over the past three years in which he's been Deputy Chair. He is of great support to the Chair and to the Council. Rick has an amazing understanding of standing orders as a Deputy Speaker of the House. That shines through. And also, I think Rick has enabled the Council to reshape itself, to reset the agenda for the past 3 years, and I think it's an enduring agenda which is focused very significantly on the environment and protection thereof. But it's Rick's understanding and appreciation of the people he serves, particularly in the Hastings constituency, that serves this council well, and I look forward to the next 3 years with Rick supporting the Chair in that crucial role.
Thank you, Neil. Sheriff, would you like to say a few words?
A few, which is not something that Rick can, and and hence I would just like to make one comment that you, the Chair, will keep Councillor Rick, if he becomes the Deputy, or even as a councillor, that he keeps to his 5 minutes, because I've seen him so often go over his 5 minutes, and you know that he duly will actually remain within his 5 minutes.
Nice.
Thank you.
Would anyone else wish to speak? Yes, Craig.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can I just, I'd like to acknowledge your election, Mr. Chair and Deputy Chair, but also the fact that we've got a few mountains to climb, and the burden on the 3 incumbent councillors and the knowledge and the IP that you carry through to this next council. I haven't asked, but I think the newbies were in the same boat, as will lean very heavily upon your knowledge and your guidance and the history that you have of the true things that are driving some of the issues that are before the council, and the knowledge you just have with your incumbency. So I think it's worthy of noting that we do have 6 new people around the table, and again, so congratulations on your election and Mr. Deputy Chair, but also I particularly look forward to working with you, and as with the other councillors, just adding our value and bit where we can, so the 9 of us can really make Hawke's Bay even a better place than it is now.
Thank you, Craig. Okay, so all those in favour? Aye. It's unanimous. Okay, So item 5, so Rick, you're the deputy chair.
Thank you.
Just to say something here?
I just want to offer to Neil, firstly, a thank you, and secondly, an apology. Thank you for the nomination, Neil, and the apology is because I said at one meeting that you had a shocker. I take it all back.
Every meeting.
Every meeting.
I also want to say that I've really enjoyed working with Rex and the other councillors. I think we've had 2 distinctive terms before this. The first consumed by the Rua Taniwha, the second by the port sale and some other issues. And I'm looking forward to the next 3 years where I sense we've got clear air, no big issues, and we've got time to get on. And I've said to several of the staff, I'm back, I'm more energised than before, and I'm even more dangerous. So look forward to it. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, so item 5 is a procedural, just to note, but we do need to move in a second, that the first meeting of the Regional Council will be held on Wednesday, the 6th of November. Do we have a mover to confirm that, please?
I'll do that.
Rick will move, second. Henny Y. All those in favour? Aye. Item 6.
So, Chair, I can speak to this one just briefly. We have provided a summary paper of all of the key legislation for which councillors hold responsibilities. The purpose of this is to make sure at this point, upon your swearing in and now the commencement of your official duties as councillors, that you are aware of the statutory responsibilities and the statutory context in which you are operating. So this is simply a noting paper, and we just ask that you note that the paper has been received and noted by council. I'm happy to take any questions in relation to the paper if councillors have any. Thank you, Chair.
Do we have a mover?
Oh,
Move. Will you second that, Martin? We have a mover and a seconder. All those in favour? Item 6.
Right.
So that is the end of our meeting. And I don't remember, did we open our meeting with a...
Karakia, yes, and we will
We
need
did.
to close it with one.
We all did. We all did.
we all did.
We went up the orange
that
one,
was
Chair.
Karakia.
And
Well,
Penny
actually,
apologised at the beginning because he
I
lost
want
his
to
way.
depart from customer... Mike, would
Tuesday
you
delivery.
close it off? We all find it closing for us.
Yeah, Mike.
Oh, great.
Thank you, and congratulations to the Chair and Deputy Chair. I've been Chairman of the Maori Committee for 9 years, and before that 9 years sitting on the Māori Committee, and wonderful to see one of the people that I trained to speak English, Charlie, come through to be a councillor, and of course in a way it's just wonderful to see a Māori woman there to lead these old buggers on the correct path. Everybody keeps saying you're retired, and actually I haven't retired at all. All I've stepped down from the Māori Committee, full stop. I still, and part my daytime job is with the Ministerial Committee, which is the equivalent, a Māori equivalent of Kiri 2, so called Ngā Whenua. So that's my main job. I'm also the temporary representative for Tū Whare on the Regional Planning Committee. We had a delegate there, and he got a job, so he couldn't attend the meetings. And Sir Tuwita Hauhau is the chairperson of the Ministerial Committee that I work for. And he asked me to step in as a very temporary substitute, which, knowing Tim, will probably last for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And so in Tū Whare there's only, I think, 18 ratepayers. It's right on the edge. So they actually think there's not a lot of business, and hence there's not a lot of interest until you start buggering up Ngāruaroa River, which starts up near below the mountain. And the same with Tūhoi. They're entitled to a person, and they said, look, we don't need a person. If we've got a problem in Tūhoi, Regional Council will come and see us. So with all that, I'd just like to say the closing prayer. Tōrera koutou mate atu o koutou manake te ake mana mea. Tōra mate ke te aho ihu, ke runga koutou atu wai. Mana whakaare ake te manamatanga. Ake ake. Amen.
Thank you, Councillor. So just from here, there is lunch served back in the council chambers at 12:30. Photographs for each of you for website and publications at 1 o'clock, and then we'll commence a workshop at 1:30 on a number of the items that will be decided at next week's council meeting. Thank you.